Hello and welcome to ABL Hot Corner. That show you keeps you up to date with all of the good stuff from around the Australian Baseball League. I'm Brooke Boris Kilpatrick, with me is Jamie Janga Cloden, and we've got a stack of stuff to get through, so let's rip straight into round one. Perth travelled to Sydney to take on the Blue Sox, and it was a 2-2 split. Both teams had a bit to take out of it. Game 1, Perth 4, Sydney 1. Daniel Schmidt, big lefty, had 6 strong innings. He conceded just 1 earned run, another great effort from him. Now Matty Taylor from the Orioles organisation had a 2-inning save and gave up no hits and K'd 3. The big guy with the bat was Corell Optimus Prime, the big unit. He had 3 doubles and scored 2 runs, giving Perth the first victory. On Saturday, the doubleheader, it was a Blue Sox sweep. The boys came out and did the job. First game they won 6-1, second game was 3-2. The early game saw Colorado Rockies prospect Alec Blaylock go 5.2 strong innings and he struck out 6. Didn't concede any runs. It was a fantastic effort after his start last week wasn't ideal, Jang.
Not a great start, but yeah, certainly picked it up this week. He was quite dominant early in the game. So. Sensational.
The other guy that really came to the fore was Blue Sox DH Rhys Hoskins. He's a prospect from the Philadelphia Phillies, and he provided heaps of grunt with a home run, double. I think he knocked in 3 of the Sox's 6 runs. Nightcap, the second game, the Sox took it again. It went in 10 innings, so it was extra innings. And it was the man Hoskins again. He drove in the game winner, and it was off Perth's Scott Minchinson, who's been going pretty well. So that completed the 3-2 win and a Saturday sweep for the Blue Sox, which was massive for them.
Huge, huge. And Craig Anderson, after that guy just keeps spinning him in.
He's unbelievable. Like, he missed the first series, but he was back this week. 7.2 innings. I think he got through and gave up only just 5 hits and 1 earned run.
And so he's been doing it forever. At every single level he plays at, he dominates.
He's not a spring chicken, is he?
Not a spring chicken,
but he gets it done.
Not the oldest guy going around either, but he's one of these guys that he never looks like he's going to blow it by. He never overpowers a lineup, but just has dominated for a long, long time, and once again came out, start the season, just doing it again.
So it was fantastic. So Sydney gave himself the chance for a 3-1 victory, but Sunday's finale, another great game, went to 11 innings, and it was that man again, Matt Kennelly, who hit a double. He played at Alan D. Sam Miguel. Luke Hughes came in as well. 2-run double and a 5-3 heat win in extra innings.
And you know, you look at those names you just mentioned then, the old stages,
the money
Kennelly, D. Sam Miguel, Hughes, Perth are going to be around the mark again. We know it. It's all the old timers still come back every year, getting the job done.
Absolutely. So Matty drove in 4 of the 5 runs in that game. It's a hard-fought series, but his heroics once again salvaged the split for Perth Heat, and that's what they do. They just stick around, just hang around, and just a fantastic effort. So getting on to Sydney, Janga, what do you think after a 2-2 split? They probably would have been a bit upset they didn't get the 3 games after winning 2 on the Saturday.
Definitely, Perth just did what they do. They just keep coming in and just jagging enough wins to keep themselves going. Second half of the year, you'll probably see them do their thing again, kick away and take the lead by storm. For Sydney though, I mean, obviously for me, Craig Anderson, he just solidifies the top of that rotation.
Adds a bit, yep.
Just makes that solid, and along with Anderson along with Lundgren and Baylog, it's just a good solid rotation. That Sydney will win more than they lose, that's for sure, with those guys.
I think they found a bit with Hoskins too. He was a great performer on the weekend.
He was, yeah. Along with Josh Dean, who once again is swinging the bat well, really will solidify the heart of the offense, and they'll score a lot of runs. James Yates is another one, and Minnesota Twins prospect Michael Casada.
He was good, wasn't he? Yeah, very good.
Yeah, he's a bit of a find. Bullpen wise, I mean, they're going to have a strong rotation, but when Todd Van Steensel comes back, he's really going to lock up that bullpen and
party liaison.
That's him. No, they will be strong. I can see the Blue Sox being right in the mix come finals time.
Van Steensel, not only a very good pitcher, but Twitter king. He is sensational on Twitter.
I'll take your word for that. I'm not so great.
You need to get on it. He's all over it.
But, yeah, they would have loved a series win over the Heat, but you know what? Anytime you come up against Perth and you walk away with a couple of wins, you're probably doing not too bad.
Wasn't too bad, yeah. No, I agree. And that's for the Perth Heat. Business as usual. They just keep getting it done. The top 3 starters, Schmidt, Veal and Carl, have pitched well enough to keep them in the ball games. and they just seem to hang around when it's time to go. They get it done. They've had a bit of a slow start with the bats. Luke Hughes hasn't hit his straps yet, but they've still managed to win enough games.
Just doing what they need to do, when they need to do it.
Matt Kennelly, money again, as always. I think he hit 357 against the Blue Sox this series.
Yep.
He was the go-to guy, and with Carell Prime, Derek Peterson, chipped in with a couple of hits as well. Did a good job, and they've crafted a 5-3 record, really without too much offense, which is pretty impressive.
That's it.
They got some ads too, like a bit later in the season we're going to get Warwick Saupold come on board. I mean, he's been pitching some very good job, doing a great job in the Detroit Tigers organisation.
Any word on starting or relieving role for him this year?
I'd say more than likely he'd probably relieve, because he had a fair workload over there. Pitched mainly in AA, but got the call up for a few AAA starts. Yep. So I mean, I'm guessing, but I'd say he's probably going to be in the pen.
Yep.
Maybe only spot start if required later in the season, but a massive ad for them. So they're probably pretty wrapped with a 5-3 start, given that they haven't really hit at this stage. Oh,
the bats are still really waiting to wake up. So yeah, I think both of these teams will feature strongly come the end of the year.
I think it's a fair call. So that's a wrap on Perth and Sydney. And next we'll be having a chat about another series, Series 2. Okay, on to the Canberra Cavalry facing the Melbourne Aces in Melbourne. How'd you see this one, Jagger?
Well, we spoke last week about the Canberra hitters really carrying the team through their success in round one. But the pitchers showed a bit more this week. Much more improved performance against the Aces. The hitters certainly still had a decent time at though, in particular Game 2.
They smashed the pitch.
Game 2, 18 runs. You just don't see that too often. So to start with though, Game 1, your man Brian Grenning again.
He's unbelievable. He's back, isn't he?
He is.
He's right back.
After having a great round one, he's come out and thrown a 5-hit shutout, featuring four strikeouts, only the one walk. So really great effort by him again, leading that staff with Matthew Larkins becoming the unlucky loser himself.
He's been good too for Melbourne, hasn't he?
Yeah, himself.
2 good solid starts.
8 innings, 8 strikeouts, but yeah, they gave up both runs and 2-0 loss. So
who was the man? Who hit the home run? Was our man?
Derek Lovelace.
Derek Lovelace.
He hit the home run to put them up 1-0, and that was all they needed with Grenning.
He's getting plenty of love from the fans, mate. Don't worry about that. Plenty of love from the fans. Game 1.
Game 2, Wade Corpy got the job done. He fired 5 scoreless innings. But the big story, obviously, I mean, you score 18 runs in a game, you're going to talk about the offense. So Toronto Blue Jays prospect Jason Leblebigian.
Jason who?
You heard me. And Brian Pounds, they combined for 3 home runs and 11 RBIs between the two of them. They had a huge night out.
Well, certainly Brian Pounds, and he certainly did in that game. He was unbelievable.
Boom, boom. Game 3, Canberra again, 6-4. Now, the dominant pitcher from round 1, I think he was your top pitcher, was Yasuo Sano. Again, pitched a great game for Melbourne, racked up a lot of strikeouts, but Canberra's bats again just did enough to get the job done.
Didn't they?
Yeah, so the Aces led after 5 innings. At that time, Sano had racked up 9 Ks already, so he's still firing the strikeouts, but it all went a bit pear-shaped in the 6th.
A little bit like the New York Mets, mate. A bit late in the game.
I know, they've done a Royals job on them and come through. So 3 walks with a little error mixed in there to help move the runners around.
The errors and the walks kill you, don't they?
Set up the big man Ryan Miller, grand slam.
Yeah, salami time. Miller time.
And that was the decisive blow. That was basically game over.
Yeah.
So went to game 4. Melbourne able to salvage a win and avoid the sweep. So Mike McGillivray.
He was good, wasn't he?
He was really good.
Yeah.
Complete game 3 hitter. I mean, that's a dominant performance, especially against that lineup that's just been hitting everything. And
through a lot of pitches too. They don't mind riding them in Melbourne. It was Sano last week, 115, I think. McGillivray was not far behind, or maybe even 116. It was a lot of pitches.
But you only give up 3 hits, you can.
Fantastic. Yeah.
You're keeping the arm fresh. So, hitting damage there was done by coach's son, shortstop Tanner Vavra. Drove in all 3, so solo shot in the 5th and a 2-run double in the 6th. So obviously his performance is well and truly warranting a spot in the lineup.
Yeah, no, he's been good, and a little bit disappointing for Melbourne. I think they probably would have been looking for a split at home.
Yeah.
But so how do you feel like they're faring so far this season?
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how they do go away from home when they travel. Obviously, going down to Adelaide this week. 5-17 last season on the road.
The series has become massive in the scheme of things. With Adelaide's terrible start as well.
I mean, Adelaide are going to need to salvage a couple wins at least to get things back on track. Whereas Melbourne have got a real chance to drive them into the ground and change around their fortunes from last year on the road. So they'll be having a crack at that. And if they can get these starts again from McGillivray, Sano, Larkins, they're going to be tough to beat. If those three guys keep twirling like they have been.
They're pitching well. They're going to have to contend with this pretty short right field porch here, but certainly they've been throwing the strikeout, so Adelaide will have their work cut out.
Canberra, how do you see them moving ahead?
Canberra, just unbelievable. They're a juggernaut. Like offensively, they've been smashing everything. Pounds did exactly that over the weekend, as we discussed. He pounded it. Harris, Barnes, Lebejon. Is that I like saying it like that. It sounds much better. Lebejon and Loveless, our boy. They're all putting up big numbers. They've been just sensational.
And Murphy.
Jack Murphy's not even there yet. He's yet to come, and he can certainly hit the pill. So that lineup's going to be given some pitching staff some conniptions as the season goes on. They're unbelievable. What
can the pitching match up to the hitting and be good enough to get them over the line?
That's the question. I think Greening's been, clearly he's back to his best. Had a bit of a downer season for himself last year, but he's been around, 5 years in this league now. He's been very good, and he's back to his best, so he needs more support from the rest of the rotation, no doubt about it.
I think so, but certainly a good guy to have anchoring it right now.
Yeah, and the Cavs look like they're going to be around, don't they? They look like they're the real deal, and I think, we spoke before about Sydney being pretty good, around the mark, a couple other teams, but Canberra, they're up there.
A couple of interesting series ahead of us next couple of weeks and shape things.
No doubt, sensational. Okay, so our final series to wrap tonight, Adelaide Bite travelled to Brisbane, and they got swept away by the Bandits, 4-0. Terrible result for the Bite.
They would have been in a hurry to get back home after that one.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been a fun plane ride home, I'm guessing. No. In fact, it might have been a bus ride. They might not have even bought the tickets, mate. Yeah, it's a bit rough, but funny thing was, like game one, 11 innings lost, 4-3, Brisbane got over the line, despite Adelaide out hitting them 13-7.
So, repeat of round one. They dominated the hitting side of things against Perth and came out on the wrong side of the ledger, so bit of a theme developing there. It
was. Went to extras. We had the tie-break rules come into play.
You're a big fan of that, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, big fan of it. If I was a softball fan, I'd probably be all over it, but it's baseball. I'm not too happy about it. However, we're going to see a lot more of it because right behind us too, we know there's curfew rules here, so we might see the same thing. However, yeah, 4-3 it was. Max Tissenbaum was the guy. Come off the bench, pinch hit the single, and Brizzy got over the line. Then on Friday, or as Adelaide probably call it, Groundhog Day, the poor old Bandits did it again. They got over the line. The Bite, geez, they were 4 up, 4 runs up in the 9th. The Bandits came back to tie it. Justin Williams, 2-run Johnson tied it late.
Bottom of the 9th, 2 out.
Bottom of the 9th, 2 out, unbelievable. Made it all tied up. Once again, extra innings. Once again, got to the 11th. Who was the guy? Max Tissenbaum again.
Double X man.
Double X did it again, unbelievable. So they got over the line, 7-6 win. Yeah, 2 games in a row, extra innings, tie-break rules, and Max was the guy. So, yeah, Adelaide would have just been shaking their heads. But they, to give up 4 runs, it's a bit of an issue with the bullpen. Yeah,
well, the manager, Steve Mintz, he's tried different options through the first 2 rounds, and he just can't pick a winner.
Someone's got to throw strikes, don't they? I mean, just got to throw strikes. So that was a bit rough. And then Saturday's contest, Adelaide looked pretty good, held a 4-1 lead into the 7th. But once again, the bullpen couldn't hold it, and the Bandits came roaring back, took the game 5-4.
And on the flip side of Adelaide's bullpen struggles, the Bandits are using former starter Ryan Searle in a closing role, and he's just getting it done. Yeah, well, he was fantastic, their best starter last year for the Bandits, but he's had a pretty big workload, I think, over in Japan. He's been playing for the Ishikawa Million Stars. One of your favourites, Janga, the Million Stars? I've followed him forever.
Sensational team. So, yeah, Searle back now. They've stuck him in the bullpen, put him as the close guy. Did a great job, got the save. Brisbane 3-0 in the series. And then Sunday, kept rolling, swept the bite, had a 6-4 win. Home runs to Nick Shufu, who's been playing pretty well.
The guy from X Factor?
That is not the guy, that's his brother Redfoo.
Right.
Yeah, no, different guy. Goofy Sutherland and Braylon Jackson, they powered the Bandits to yet another win, so a big sweep. And who was the guy again at the back of the pen? Ryan Searle backed it up, another close.
Just getting it done.
And the Bandits have now won 5 in a row, and the Bite are struggling.
Yeah, well, they'll be just looking forward to coming back to Cooper Stadium this week, I think.
Only team that's played both series on the road so far, so a bit of home cooking this week. But where do you see the Bandits though? That's a great homestand.
I'll see.
Are they the real deal?
Well, they're winning games, and I mean, you look at the major leagues right now, and the team that's winning it all is Kansas City, and they've got as good a bullpen as any.
They have.
The Bandits bullpen's getting it done, so and they did a big impression of Kansas City, coming from behind and scoring all the runs late. So. Seems to be the way to do it these days.
It was interesting too. They in the softball tiebreak rules, which are my favourite as discussed, they both times elected to bunt the runners from first and second across, whereas the Bite sort of went for the big inning. I think our boy Travis Demerit took about 3 massive hacks and went down swinging. Yeah. He has hit 2 home runs, but it just didn't work out in Adelaide's favour.
Been a bit all or nothing so far, hasn't he?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but no, I mean, you look at the Bandits roster and they're still missing some guys. Logan Wade's not there, Alan Schoenberger's not there.
Good players, yeah.
Ryan Searle, like you say, he's having a huge impact, but he's not at full tilt. He's had a big workload, so they're managing. But they're getting wins, so there really seems to be a lot of strong teams. Everyone's looking good, ready to pounce. It is going to be a case. We've talked about Perth, we've talked about Sydney, Canberra with the bats. It's just going to be a case of who takes their chances. Yeah,
exactly right. And the team that hasn't taken their chances so far, Adelaide Bite. 1-7 start. It's just been the worst possible start for those guys, and they've been in every game. Like the story here is the bullpen just hasn't fired. I mean, they've hit the ball, they've got guys on base. A couple of times they haven't got the runners in, but the offense has been fine. The starters ERA, I think it's around 3.7. So they've started well. Chambers has been good. Matt Williams, obviously. Swiley has just had 2 terrible first innings. Yeah. But after his first innings, he's come through and pitched well. Yeah. So the starters have been good, but the bullpen ERA is around about 5.25, and it's just had a couple of shockers. They've issued too many walks. Yeah. And the walks come back to kill you every time. Josh Tolles, Devon Barker aside, I think they've really struggled, and that's got to be fixed by Stephen Minns, because if they don't fix that, it's going to be a very long season for the Adelaide fans. First home series looming this weekend against the Aces. It's massive. They'd be looking to take 3. It's pretty tough to sweep a series, but they'd be looking to take 3. And if they any less than 2, they're going to be looking up at the other teams in the standings. Well,
we'll speak about that again shortly after the break, hey?
Yeah, we're going to be having a chat to Adelaide Bite CEO Nathan Davis, and I'm sure he's not going to be too happy about the top I'm wearing after the road trip they've just had.
You're a brave man coming down here with that one.
You've got to please all the people, mate.
I'm going with the teams that are defunct.
The old school Melbourne Monarchs.
These don't exist anymore. I can't get in anyone's bad books.
Sensational, mate. So, yeah, that wraps up the series for the Bite and the Bandits.
We'll be back with Davo soon.
Beautiful.
Take it from me, one punch can be lethal. Thrown in anger like this, without warning, without any gloves, it can be deadly. One punch can end his life and ruin yours. It takes blood to throw it, it takes guts to walk away.
Okay, I'm here with Adelaide Bite CEO Nathan Davison, ex-Adelaide Giants gun, and we're going to talk about what's happened to the Adelaide Bite so far this season. Davo, 1-7 start. Things aren't going too well. How are the boys feeling right now?
Well, it's a good question. Certainly not what we were looking for, but they're pretty upbeat. And as you will have noticed from the results, is probably an 8-run differential total on the season through 8 games. So it's a really fine line between winning and losing. At the minute, we're on the wrong end of it. So I think we'd prefer to be at this end of the year, and come home strong, which is the only option we have now. That we have to start sort of keep playing good baseball. But try to get over the line a little bit, and I'm sure the questions will come about later in the game.
Absolutely. So 6 one-run losses, I believe. Pretty unheard of, really, in baseball. Things just haven't fallen the right way, have they?
Yeah, 4 walked off. Now, you can only do that if you're away from home, remember. You can only ever get walked off. So that's probably part of the reason is the home ground, the hallowed turf we're on here, that we come out here, and we have had a really good record here for the duration of the ABL. So we hope that that turns around, but I mean, we can't look too far ahead still. I don't want to get too cliched on anyone, but we can only
one
win
game
Friday,
at a time,
right?
mate. One game
well,
at a time.
I even said it to Mincy today. I said, you don't even have to worry about one game. Just win the first pitch and then do that 120 times on our side and then try to do the same thing on the others. And
Done.
Simple game, right?
Absolutely. Speaking of Stephen Mintz, pretty tough act to follow coming in after Brooke Knight, who's been very well respected in the league. How's Mincy coping so far with what's going on?
Yeah, well, he's as competitive as Brooke. You can see it when you only talk to him and deal with him, and that's a good thing for our club. But certainly different styles, different ways to go about it. But you know, he recognises the challenge. He knows we've got a good list. He's sort of been really heavily involved with the selection of a lot of them, particularly the affiliated guys. So we're still pretty comfortable and confident they're the guys for us. And there was some really positive results out of last weekend. A lot of good at-bats and those kind of things, and also a lot of bad. A lot of things that we're going to impress with and change, but that's baseball, right?
The hitting's been pretty good, I think, up and down. Got a couple of young guys on the side. I think Cole Petty's looked good. Jordan Cowan's done some good things, got some wheels.
And of course the old boy, Tom Bryce, still plugging away.
Tommy Bryce, still plugging away.
Averages still and doing well, and he has that veteran presence that not only the average, but just he has a tough at-bat. You can notice that since he came back and had the year off that he's really been a tough presence in the middle of that lineup. We just need everyone to jump on board with that and follow suit. And you know how it works. You wear down, you know, if the tough at-bat happens right from the start, it's a tough gig as a pitcher to see guys coming up time and time again and not giving up cheap at-bats and easy out. So that's going to continue to be the focus, and hopefully get off to a good start on Friday night.
Yeah, absolutely. Now the bullpen's been a problem. It's been an issue. We've had a few guys who've done pretty good. The guy with the awesome socks, Devon Barker, he's my boy. I love watching him go to work.
So far,
he's done a good job.
And Josh Tolles just hit the ground running from last year too.
Yeah,
he's been great, and the vulture that they call him, you know,
got enough,
still gave himself a chance at that. But if you don't get late runs, you're not going to vulture anything.
There it
so no, he's been doing well. Devon will be good. The US guys are just getting their feet on the ground. Like Kursky's really highly thought of. Comer's an early round pick and going to be strong. Gallant will get here soon. Our guys, Swilly's been okay except for his first inning hiccups and those kind of things, which will be addressed. So I think they'll be okay. And the Aussie guys are still, the starting pitching's been pretty good.
Got to be pleased with Steve Chambers so far.
Yeah, quality guy, quality outings every time he goes out there. He knows his craft and he's gotten better at it over the time. We would have seen him 3 or so years ago.
Seemed to have learned a bit in Japan when he was over there.
He has, and he's just sort of matured into his body and how to pitch, and there's something to be said for throwing strikes no matter what you do, right? So you don't hit 1,000 at batting practice even.
Yeah,
so throw some strikes and see what they can do. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, one question I got to raise: a couple of the games in Brisbane, they had the tie-break rules. As a fan, I hate it. As a CEO and in charge of a team that was on the receiving end of a couple of those games, how do you feel about the tie-break rules?
Oh, it's going to be a typical reply that if it works in your favour, you're going to like it. If it doesn't, you won't. And I certainly...
So not rating it so far?
Well, I didn't like our attempts at getting them to second and third with none out. So that's probably more of a concern than the rules for me.
Yeah.
Is the fact that the bunt wasn't embraced, and even though there was a sort of attempt, it wasn't executed, and you can substitute that word for baseball execution and make sure that we've got to do that, you know. Runners on third and throwing strikes and 2-out walks and these kind of things late in the game don't go anywhere in all of baseball. You watch it in the World Series today, you watch it every day. It just can't happen even here in little old Adelaide, so we're going to make sure that we execute and do the fundamentals a lot better, not just a little bit better.
Well, someone that brings that to the table, Mitch Denning, who's performed at every level, are we going to see him again this year? Is he a chance? Is he on the radar?
If no one's listening and it's just us talking,
just us, there's no one listening.
Yeah, then,
no one's watching, mate.
Then maybe I'd say
still a chance.
If I was a betting man, which sometimes I am, is better than 50-50 chance.
I will take that.
Okay.
Take those odds.
So I think if he plays for anyone, it'll be for us.
Yeah, no, we'll take that, mate.
Yeah.
Very handy injecting that back.
So there's no chance. There's no there's no bidding war with the Perth Heat, because we'd hate to see him go to the Perth Heat, mate. It'd be terrible.
Oh, there's no question. You know me like you do, and I'm pretty competitive too, and I don't want him to go anywhere except Adelaide. So I've certainly had some discussions with him, and we'd like him to play for us. So.
Beautiful. Now, there's been a couple of changes at City Hall with the ABL. Without going into details, how has that affected the sort of day-to-day running of your ball club? Has it had any effect?
Not really, no. We're heavily operational at this time of the year. It's just game on. Once I say play ball, and there's 2 teams, we're just trying to put on the best show that we can. So Peter did the job to get us here through 5 years, and Tom as well. And Major League Baseball aren't a business that's going to sit on their laurels or let the grass grow under their feet. They're going to keep moving, and if it's not working or not where they want to see it and the direction it's going, they make a change.
Yep.
And you know, some businesses are like that, and they're obviously in it for the reason, and they do a good job of it. So they represent the owners of all the teams, remember, too.
Of course.
So it has to go back to them. But we hope that the direction that they're putting some time and effort into Australia, into this market, means that they want to be around here forever.
Yep.
And or at least in our time, this is our real crack at making it last and stand. So there's an interim CEO, Jeff Hooker's come on, of Perth.
From Perth.
From
yep.
Perth, who oversee a lot of the runnings of the business in here. And like I said, it's heavily operational, revolves around sales and those kind of things this time of year. So we've just got to make sure we stay on the ball with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, fantastic. Excellent.
What about here locally? Cooper Stadium here, great facility. Last year was jumping come finals time in the playoffs. Any new experiences for the local fans this year? Got anything?
A few tweaks. I think the deck's in better shape than it's ever been,
Looks
so it's going to
magnificent.
it really does look good, and they've done a great job getting it ready. We're working better than we ever have with both the Norwood Council and the Norwood Footy Club. Any more tweaks? Oh, I asked that exact question the other day, so you're ahead of your time, Clodes, in the questions you asked, and they said, yeah, there will be some. So they'll just notice some little differences, a bit more of a personal touch to what we're doing, and we've got to try and win the fans over one at a time. We've invited or been lucky enough to invite every baseball player that's registered in South Australia to become a member.
Great initiative.
Which means our membership numbers are up, even though they're only shorter game members. We're taking the leaf out of the AFL and just getting people involved and engaging and get them through the gate. They'll come and bring Ma and Pa and the kids and have a good time and a little feed and want to come back again. So we think the numbers are better than I know the numbers are better than they've ever been at this stage of the year. With a lot of interest in our corporate areas again and those kind of fun family entertainment and experience. So it should be fun.
The Shark Tank, obviously.
Shark Tank's going to be a big one again.
So the Shark Tank goes
it's good over there, and on a nice night tonight, you can kick the thongs off. Or the
wouldn't mind being over there right now.
I know.
Get the toes in the grass.
You
mate.
got it. Feels good, doesn't
baseball.
it? Makes you smile.
The elephant in the room, Melbourne Aces. Last year had a bit of a boys had a bit of fun and games.
Yeah,
you know, boys will be boys.
I'm sure there's going to be some shenanigans.
Do you think we should have a bit of fun and games this weekend?
I'm really looking forward to Joe Vavra coming back, to be honest.
And his family, they're all coming?
Yeah, they got them all in the line-up. It's a perfect way to get your kids a game, manage a team, right? So I did it for years. So, yeah, that'll be fun to have them here. And obviously there's that, I mean, we've moved on from that. And I don't think that should be anything. I mean, that could happen in every series where someone doesn't like what goes on and, you know, it's a bit of gamesmanship and what have you. But unfortunately, that's still sort of dragging on in the courts and what have you. So I think actually the resolution date is next Friday.
Is that right?
Yeah, coincidentally. So,
sure is.
Yeah, I wonder if both those fellas are going to turn up and go to court. We'll see. Might bring them out. The rematch, the rebound.
Have another go.
Put them in the Shark Tank, mate, see how that goes.
There we go. Well, they've been there before, haven't they?
So the Aces, I mean, they've had a reasonable start to the season, but they haven't been on the road yet, and they've been notoriously a pretty ordinary road team. Gives your boys a chance to get some W's on the board. Of course, it won't be easy, but the boys will be pretty keen.
They've always had such a good list. It's and they would still question what goes on. How can they perform so poorly with such a good amount of particularly local talent that they've always had? And last year they had Declan, who was a home run hitter, the best one in the league, and the catcher was good. And every year they've had good pitching and recruits and all that kind of thing. They just haven't been able to piece it together. So I know Joe, and I can remember him from 20 odd years ago, and he was. Talk about intensity levels. He was one of those guys that was
gets it up there.
Intense. So with his throwing BP left-handed and right-handed and
doing
whatever.
Both sides,
he's a character, and I'm sure he wouldn't have lost any of that passion for the game. So he's going to come here and have it ready to go. And you know, we know he's got Brad Harmon and those kind of guys. They're good.
Yeah, got some capital to work with.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, it should be some fun and games.
It should be. So 7 o'clock Friday night, we'll be out here.
Get down here, and if the fans want to get tickets, what's the best way they can go?
Best way is to ring the guys in the office or go to the website, www.adelaidebyte.com.au, and get along. It has all the list of our full suite of options that they can come in there and or just turn up at the gate and we'll let you in.
Roll on in.
There should be a couple of seats available.
Should be a couple.
You got to get in early though.
Well, I can tell you guys, the place is looking magnificent, and it should be a sensational series. So. Davo, thanks so much for talking to us. Really appreciate it, and best of luck for the rest of the season.
Love your work, guys. Always happy to be around and getting the boys down here. All right.
Champion.
Good man.
Mate.
Good
Thanks so much. On to our hot hitter segment, and Janga, who have you chosen as your hot hitter for this round?
Well, we spoke about him last week, but I'm going to go with David Harris from the Cavalry.
It's been good.
He's leading the league with 12 hits already on the season after 2 rounds, as well as on base percentage as well. So he's getting on base not just through hits, but he's getting walks. He's doing all the hard work. And even though his teammates such as Miller, Pounds, Lebjian.
Lebjian.
I've got to stop putting him in my guys. They're grabbing all the long ball headlines over the weekend. But Harris still has 2 home runs of his own. And he's batting lead off in the powerful Cavalry lineup. So there's going to be a lot of chances for him to score a lot of runs.
Yeah.
With those guys just driving him in all year.
Bit of a Brandon Dixon type guy that the Bye had last year.
Yeah, well, he led the league last year. 38 runs it was in 40 odd games. So Harris is already going at a run a game. So he's on pace to beat that. And I mean, 2013 it was John Birdie, the speedster from Canberra. Yeah. He led the league. It was a phenomenal 46 runs.
He was.
So he was a lot more than a run a game. He stole 31
had
bags
some
too, I
wheels.
think.
Yeah, he was a good player.
So he was just doing laps of the bases all year. But yeah, I think it's 8 runs in the 7 games that Harris has got so far. So if he keeps getting on base at this sort of a clip, he's going to. There's going to be some big RBI numbers further down that lineup.
Set the table for the big bangers.
Yeah, so he's my guy for this week. You?
I'm going for Justin Williams, representing my Bandits tonight. He was unbelievable. He finished round 1 with a 333 average, so he kicked off pretty well. Had a home run and 4 RBIs, but the big man had a big weekend. He went in his merry way against the Bite Hurlers, and he juiced up, smashed the numbers. Now he's at 423. He's hit a couple of home runs, 8 RBIs, and he had a 2-out, 2-run long ball, which was just the one that got him the sweep. Helped him get over the line for the sweep.
About that.
Yeah, he was just magnificent on Friday night. So Justin Williams is my guy for the Bandits. We've got a few honourable mentions. Who else you like?
Reece Hoskins from the Blue Sox. He's off to a flyer.
He was lights out. Yeah, he was good.
He's off to a good start. Your boy Carell Prime.
Oh, optimist.
He's a big man.
He's a big dude.
He's, 3 doubles in 1 game?
I don't think he's even warmed up yet either. I think he's just getting going. He was fantastic.
He'll be tearing up the league in no time.
We spoke about Travis Demerit from Adelaide. I think he leads the league in total bases.
He does.
But he's also leading the league in whiffs. So he's had a bit of all or nothing. I think he struck out maybe 14 times in a couple of series. That's a lot of strikeouts. So
he's another guy that with that all or nothing, if he comes to play with the all, he could really make a series his own.
He's a game changer, no doubt about it.
Might
a game changer.
Home series this week might be his chance.
Let's hope so for the Bite fans.
One more honourable mention: Josh Dean from the Blue Sox. Had a good year last year. He's just carrying it over this year again.
Yeah, he's a very tidy player. And they need the offense in the Blue Sox, don't they? So he's important as well as Hoskins for sure.
Yeah, very much so.
All right, we're trying to wrap this up a little bit. We're going to go around the horn, and this week, instead of talking about pulled pork, which I just did again, I said I wasn't going to do it, I couldn't help myself. We're going to talk about some stats around the league, some interesting stats we've seen so far. And Janga, one that I've noticed is the Sydney pitchers have walked a league low 19 batters, whereas the Melbourne Aces have walked a whopping 43.
That's a ridiculous difference.
It's an amazing difference, and that shows how Sydney are staying in games. They're not giving up the cheap runners.
It's a lot less base runners that are going to come around. But
makes a big difference.
The Sydney team ERA is a very tasty 2.74. So their pitches are just
they've been really
very, very good.
Fairly solid up and down, and I think Perth's the only other team that's under 4 at this stage.
3.63 they're at. So that just shows how it's been a very offensive start to the year around the league. But the right guys on the hill, the professional starters that Sydney are rolling out there, they're doing all the right things.
And it also shows how Perth have been getting wins by keeping themselves in the game with not giving up too many runs.
That's it.
And speaking of Perth, they got a 5-2 record, but they're only hitting 222 as a team, which is pretty amazing, really. Which is pretty scary for the rest of the league, I think.
Just wait till they warm up. Look at the power side of things. Canberra, 14 home runs already. 8 games down, 14 home runs.
That's a lot.
And the mighty Perth Heat offense, one.
Just a solitary Johnson for the Perth Heat, hitting 222, and they're 5-3.
Unbelievable.
Wait to see what happens when Luke Hughes warms up. Boys start hitting the pill. And of course Tad Gold. Once Tad starts firing up,
you'll get hot.
Anything could happen. We like molten gold.
This could go for a while, couldn't it? You were talking about Travis Demerit before with the striking out.
I was. So Adelaide batters have struck out a league high 67 times, which is just not acceptable. And Travis has 14 of them. So he's contributing pretty heavily to that 67.
But as you said, on the flip side,
he's leading the league in total bases with 22. He's hitting the ball hard when he hits it, but he's just there. I think a couple of situations for the Bite, they had loaded bases, maybe cut down that swing just a little tad, Travis. if you can hear me.
There's potential to be a difference maker though.
Oh, he's going to be, and he's going to be fun to watch. The fans will like watching him. He'll be fun to watch for sure. What about hitting the pill? What about the slugging? Who's been slugging it this year?
Last week it was Brisbane that were doing all the swinging.
Yep.
This week Canberra, obviously, just phenomenal. Slugging percentages of 480 for Canberra and 444 for Brisbane. That's just off the charts.
It is off the charts.
Extra bases everywhere.
Yeah, so they're doing it all right with the stick, and like I say, when other teams like Perth start hitting it around, look out for them. Sydney base run is an interesting one. They've been caught stealing a leading 7 times, which I think is 4 more than the nearest close with 3. So they're obviously running quite a bit, trying to generate runs.
A lot of small ball.
But they're getting pinged more than they'd like to be.
So yeah, that's you got to look at the quality of the catches too.
Exactly.
Case, so.
Exactly. Absolutely.
The bite,
Adelaide
6
bite.
1-run losses already.
Unheard of.
1 and 7 with 6 of those.
So you've played 8 games, you've lost 6 by 1 run. Yeah, I think the word snake bit comes to mind.
Something like that.
You'd be feeling like, hopefully, with the hitting, something can happen soon. First home series, maybe that'll be the impetus they need to get going.
Need what they need to wake up a bit on.
Otherwise, they're going to be looking up for the other teams. Struggle. I mean, 8 games down, 56 game schedule. There's plenty of time left.
There is,
but they can't be. You can't be chipping away. You've got to have a big series coming up this weekend.
Well, speaking of this weekend, look at the predictions. And we've got Sydney at Canberra.
Sydney at Canberra. I'm going to go Canberra. I just think they're hitting the ball too well. At home, I think they'll probably do the job. So I'm going to take Canberra 3-1 in that one.
Yep.
What about yourself?
This will be the only one I predict to be a split. I think this will be 2-2. Guys like your Anderson, your Lundgren, they're getting it done on the hill. Canberra just they can't keep swinging it like that for the whole 4 games. Surely.
Got to be level out eventually.
They've got to come back down to earth at some stage. So I'll split that one.
Fair enough. Okay, what about Melbourne and Adelaide right behind us? It's going to happen right here. What's going to happen?
I'm going to have
How many more 1-run losses are the Adelaide bike going to have? 1.
But they'll win the other 3.
Nice. So you're taking a 3-1?
I think they're going to have to find their mojo at some stage soon and come on board. So yeah, I'll take Adelaide 3-1 at home to really get their season going. Because if they don't, it might be too late. It
could be too. I'm going to take the split because I think the Melbourne starters have just been too good. Sano, Larkins, and McGillivray now. I think they're just that's going to be good enough to get them a 2-2 split. But I think Adelaide will start to show a little bit. This will be the start of them hopefully coming back into the league and doing some damage. Yeah. And as Nathan said before too, they've got some reinforcements coming along the way. So a couple of guys coming on. Gallant, I think the name was. That's a pretty good name too. Something like that. We might get up there with some of the other great names we've had so far already. We've got a few to choose from. We might have to run a competition pretty shortly about best names in the historically in the ABL. What do you think? That might be worth having a look at. Let's do it. Okay, so finally, Brisbane at Perth. Who's going to win that one? You know what? I'm taking Brisbane 3-1. You like Brisbane? Yeah. Brisbane, they're rolling at the moment. They're doing all the little things right, and like I say, they're playing a bit of Kansas City Royal ball late in games at the moment, and I'll roll with them. You think they'll ride the wave over there in Perth? I do. I reckon. Pretty tough to knock it out over there. It's a big park. It is, yeah. But we keep saying that Perth, they're still warming up, and I think they're still a few weeks away from hitting their straps. I reckon Brisbane will have a crack, and 3-1 for me. I can see that. Well, I'm going to go with the split. I think Perth are good enough to win 2 at home, but I still like Brisbane. They're doing a great job, but I'm going to take the 2-2 split. And that pretty much wraps it up for this week. It does. The sun's going down. Don't forget, hit us up on Twitter, and also get on the Facebook page. Get us some comments. Tell us what the ballpark food you're eating. Who's your team? Who do you like that you've seen play? Can you get Boris a free Melbourne Aces hat? Can you get me a free? Yeah, I haven't seen it. I checked the mail every day this week. Didn't see it come in. You got Buckley's. Yeah, get on it. Let us know what you're thinking. Be interactive. Next couple of weeks as things kick off, go a bit further. We'll be getting some competitions going, get you involved. But for now, it's Brooke Boris Kilpatrick. I'm Janga Cloden. Signing off for ABL Hot Corner. Thanks for being with us. See you later.